Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to deal with factorial in programming. We are going to use JavaScript. What is factorial? Let me explain what factorial is. Normally, factorial is like you multiply a number by its subsequent number until it gets to 1. Like this, let's say we have 5 factorial. So it means that we are going to do 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. That is factorial. That is the meaning of 5 factorial. How do we now transform that into what a computer can understand so that we can be using it in a computer? Okay, there might be so many ways to do it, but we are going to focus on iterative case and recursive case. I will explain both of them in this case so that you know how to write factorial with JavaScript or any programming language. Wait, before we continue, subscribe to this channel now so that when we get another tutorial, you will have access to them without wasting time. So now let's continue. We have function factorial and it takes a number, right? And we now have a const, let's say let, because we are going to be changing it. Let's say let result is equals to 0. Now let's write the condition that will determine whether to show result or not. In this case, if number is less than 1, we don't want to continue the operation again, because if it continues, anything multiplied by 0 will give us 0, and we don't want that to happen. We just want to return result. Let's just do console.log result, and we want to return true so that we know that it is now true. Okay, after that, let's now deal with for loop, the iteration. Let's just do let's length of the operation, right? Let's say it is equals to number. What do we mean by that? If the number given to us here is 5, right? So the length of our operation, we now setting it to be the number itself. We now do if len is greater than 1, that is something greater than 1, we want to be subtracting 1 from it until it gets to 0. Len minus. What is the meaning of that? You can see we have len here. This one is like a length of the operation, right? We assign it to number, because let's say we have 5, we want the operation to be based on the number given to us. That means this one will be 5 if this one is 5, right? Then len will be greater than 1, like that. The first iteration, we subtract 1 from it, it will be 4. Then we subtract 1 from it, it will be 3. We subtract 1 from it, it will be 2. It will be 1, and it gets to 0, and this one will stop it. You want to assign something to result. Result is equals to result multiplied by len. What is that one doing? Imagine number is 5 and we assign 5 to len. So that means the value of len is now 5, right? And it means len is greater than 1. That is 5 is greater than 1, right? Then we subtract 1 from len. That's what that one means. We subtract 1 from len. We now say result multiplied by len. What is the meaning of that? It means that from the beginning, result is 1. Then we want to reassign something to it, and we now say result, which is 1, times which is 5. First iteration, len will be 5. Then we multiply 5 times 1, then it will be 5. That is what that one does. Second iteration, len will be 4. Now say result, which is 5 multiplied by 4. Then it will be 5 times 4, which is 20. Then the third operation, len will be 3, and 3 times 20, on and on and on and on until we get our result. So let's do the last thing. Console.log result. Okay, and we can also return it so that the operation will stop. Return results. That is it. And let's see whether it works or not. Let's just say factorial. Let's say we pass, let's say 3, so that we know that the answer should be 6. Let's save it and see whether it's going to work or not. Let's see. Okay, let's check if it's going to work. Hooray! Yes, it works. Can you see that? We have 6. So that means it is working. Let's check something else. Let's put 4 here. So that will be 4 times 3. That is 12. 12 times 2, that is 24. Let's check it. Boom! 24. Yes, 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 yes. Hooray! It works. That is it. 24 is working, and that is what we are expecting. It is working. How is it working like that? This is how the operation works. Let's say the first number is 4. So it has to multiply it by 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. By the time you pass it here, it comes here. Result is 1. Then you check this one, number is not less than 1, and it creates a len. Len is equals to the number we pass to it, which is 4. Then len is greater than 1, then 1 will be subtracted from len. So the first operation, len will be 4. So 1 times 4, because result is currently 1, 1 times 4, it will be 4. You get that? The loop will continue again. The second iteration, len will be 3. Result is now 4. 3 times 4, that will be 12, right? The third iteration, len will be 2. 12 times 2, that is 24. The fourth iteration, len will be 1. 24 times 1, then we still have 24. Then the fifth iteration, len will be less than 1, because the value of len will now be 0, right? And we will check whether len is greater than 1, but it's not greater than 1, it is 0. Then the operation will stop because the condition is not met again, and it will stop, and we'll have our result. It will move to another stage, and it will log the result, and we will have the result we have, and that is how it is working. Do you get that? That is how to use for loop to achieve factorial. Now let's use recursion to achieve the same thing. You just say function factorial. Let's put r so that we know that with recursion number, we now do the terminator like I explained, base condition that has to be met. We now do if number is less than 1, what are we going to do? We want to just return, let's say console.log 1. That's what we want. We can return 1 if we want that. We are returning 1. If we want to use that 1, we don't need 0, because 0 will destroy everything. Anything that is 0 is 0. So we have to end it at 1. We now do number multiplied by factorial r. It calls itself, that's recursion, and we pass number minus 1. So that is the next. How does this one work? Let's check whether it works or not before I explain it, so that you understand the thinking behind it. But first thing, let's check whether it works or not, so that we won't be wasting our time. Let's see whether it works or not. Factorial r, let's pass 3 to it and see whether it works. Is it going to work? Let's check it out and see whether it's going to work. Boom! Yes, it's not working. Okay. It's actually working, but we are not logging what we are meant to log. This one stops everything. That's why we have 1, right? By the time it's less than 1, it will log 1. But the major operation we want to calculate, the factorial itself. So let's just do const result is equals to this, and let's console.log result so that we can see the final result. It will work. It's just because we didn't log anything or return anything. So if it is normal factorial, we don't need to console.log. We can just return it, return the result. So let's just return it like this. Return. So this one will return this, and let's check whether it works. Let x is equals to this, and console.log x. That makes it easier to do. And let's say x. It should be working now. We should see a result, and we are expecting 6. You can see 6. We have 6 here. So you might be thinking, why do we have 1? It's because of this that we log here. By the time we remove this, right, we don't see anything again, right? We don't see anything. 1 will not be logged again. That is it. You can see we have 6. It is working. And if we change this one to 4, we have to see 24. Boom! Yeah, it's working. Can you see that? But the thing is, how is it working? Let me explain what happens. The first recursive operation, what happens is that we have this. This is the first operation. We have this, right? the number is 4, right? We have 4 multiplied by factorial r, which is 4 minus 1. Then this one is number already, and this one will call the function on itself, right? It will come here and it will return this again. So it means this one will be translated to this, right, by the time the function completes its operation. And this one means, number minus 1 in the first operation, that will be 3. Let me get back. This one, if you subtract 1 from 4, we have 3, right? And it will be translated to this after it comes here, right? Because we are calling this factorial, it will return this. Then it will be translated to this, right? And this one will be 3 because we subtracted 1 from 4. So this will be 3 and this will be 3, right? You get that? And this one will be translated to this again, right? And this one will be 2 and this one will be 2, right? So by the time it calls this one again, because this one will be 1 and it calls factorial on 1, right? It will finally return, because number is not less than 1, right? It is 1, it's not less than 1. It will return this. So by the time it returns this, it will be translated to this, and this one will be 1 and this one will be 1 minus 1. So by the time it calls this, right, what will happen? This one will be 0. 1 minus 1 is going to be 0. And by the time it comes here, because it will check whether 0 is less than 1, then it's less than 1, then it's going to return 1. So this one will now be times 1. If you multiply it, 1 cannot affect the operation. It just be 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 times 1, and that will be 24. And yes, that is how we get the result we are getting. If you really get along with what I have been explaining, that is how to use recursion to achieve factorial. And you can see it's very, very straightforward. And if you don't understand recursion, it might be tricky. So, but with the way I explain it now, I hope you understand it. So that is how to write factorial with JavaScript. Now, let me re-explain this, because repetition aids retention. What happens is, the first time it's called factorial 4 and it will return this, and this one means 4, right? It will be 4 times factorial 3, right? Factorial 3 will now call the function itself again, then that one will return all of this again, and this one will now be 4 times 3 times factorial 3, like I have explained before. That is how it goes on and on and on and on till we get the final result. For the last time, let's check something else to see whether it's still working. Let's put 3, and if we put 3, we are expecting 6 as our result. And let's see whether it works or not. Let me remove this because it will affect everything. So let's check whether it works or not. Okay, let's see if it works. Yes, hooray, yes, it works. Can you see that we have 6, and that is what we are expecting? And this one takes us to the end of this tutorial. Don't forget, a true Roman never surrenders. See you in another tutorial. Bye for now.
Hey! Have you been struggling to learn and build projects with JavaScript? Oh no, you too can code. People like you have been struggling to understand and build projects with JavaScript because you have been learning with the wrong resources that make everything so difficult to learn. And there is nobody to be there for you anytime you are stuck. That is why I have put together my long experience of working with JavaScript, and I also took a year of my life to provide solutions to the problem beginners always face in learning and building projects with JavaScript. Now you can learn with a tested and trusted program that makes use of simple examples and amazing illustrations that make everything so easy to learn. And my team and I will always guide you, mentor you, and always be there for you anytime you are stuck. So, what are you waiting for? Click the link in this post right now to start learning JavaScript the easy way. I will teach you JavaScript to be unstoppable. See you soon.